One of the most demoralizing experiences as a teacher is to teach apathetic students who are bored and disengaged. So we're going to talk about how to solve that problem today, and we're going to talk about the secret to engaging our entrepreneurship students. The secret to engaging students is relatively straightforward. At its core, we need to get our students bought in to what it is we're teaching. And to get them bought in, I find it's most effective to treat our students like customers. If we can change the perspective from I am the teacher and you are the student and you need to listen to me sort of power dynamic and kind of almost reverse it such that we recognize that we as teachers have things that we want our students to consume. We have some skills and a mindset that we want them to bring them best selves and their energy and their enthusiasm to class to receive. Then all of a sudden we start to imagine, well, what do I really need to bring to bear for my customers to buy into this thing that I want them to consume? And with that perspective in mind, we can realize the thing that we're teaching our students all the time, which is that customers don't buy products. Customers buy solutions to problems. It's the exact same principles we're teaching to our students in class. So if we follow these principles with our students to get their buy-in, we recognize that we don't need to sell them products. We can't sell them the structure of the class or the type of exercises they'll do. We can't sell them the syllabus. We can't sell them anything like that. If we want their buy-in, we need to solve their problems. So to help you discover and solve the problems that are appropriate for your course, I'm going to introduce an exercise called the problem post-its. This exercise is inspired by Laura Klein. She's the author of UX for Lean Startups. And I learned a form of this exercise during one of her workshops. You'll actually find that this exercise is a fantastic brainstorming exercise for any sort of activity. So you can not only use it with your students, but you can teach it to your students so they can use it whenever they're brainstorming ideas. It's great to help balance out the energy of the extroverts on the team with the great ideas of the introverts on the team. And this exercise is great to use when your students are analyzing their interviews. Now this exercise can be broken down into 4 steps. We use the acronym DARE to help outline each of those steps. The D is for discover, where you're going to discover your students' problems. The A is for analyzing their problems. Then you're going to reflect their problems back to them. And finally, emphasize the solutions to their problems that you're going to offer throughout the course. We'll take these one at a time, starting with discovery. So to discover your students' problems, you're going to arm them with a set of post-it notes. Give each student roughly 10 post-it notes and a Sharpie or some other kind of marker. And you're going to ask them to write down one problem that they have per post-it note. Now, it's a good idea to emphasize this one problem per post-it note bit, because if you don't, you'll find that at least one person in your class is going to end up writing down all of their problems on a single post-it note. So it's one problem per post-it note. Then, you're going to give them 2 minutes to write down all of the problems they have related to the jobs that they want to find, or any financial problems they're going to have, or career problems, or business-related problems. That's going to help constrain the problem set that you're going to have to deal with during your course, because obviously not every problem that your students have you want to try and tackle. But anything along these lines, hopefully you should be able to address at least in some way throughout the course. Alright, so you're going to put 2 minutes on the clock and you're going to ask them to aim for at least 10 problems. So at least 10 post-it notes that they're going to come up with. So have them fire away, and this is going to help you complete the discovery phase of their problems. After the 2 minutes is over, you're going to start and move into the analyze phase. And to do that, you're going to have your students take their post-it notes and they're going to identify the top 3 problems that they have. So out of their 10, identify the top 3 problems. And they're going to take those post-it notes and they're going to stand up and they're going to follow you to a corner or a wall in the room. So now that you have all of your students with you at some wall in your classroom, you're going to start grouping their problems into little problem clouds. And to do that, you're going to ask a student to volunteer a problem. So they're going to say, hey, I got a problem. I'm about to graduate, and I don't know what kind of job I want. And you're going to say, okay, great. Who else has a post-it note that says, I don't know what kind of job I want after school? So everyone who has that problem is going to raise their hand. You're going to collect all those notes, and you're going to put them up on your wall. You're going to make a little cloud for that problem. I don't know what kind of job I want. And you're going to ask another student, what problem do you have? And they're going to say, my problem is I'm broke. You're going to say, okay, great. Who else has a post-it note that says, I got financial problems? And you're going to collect all those post-it notes. You're going to put them on another spot on your wall, another little problem cloud. Then you're going to keep going until you've got everyone's problem post-it notes. Maybe someone will have a problem like, I know what job I want, but I'm not sure how to get it. And so you'll collect all those and create another problem cloud over here, kind of close to the original, I don't know what job I want, because they're both related. They're sort of job related, even though they're slightly different. All right, so now that you have all of these little problem clouds, you've analyzed your customers' problems. You can see what problems they have and what are the most popular problems, which are the most relevant, which are the most pressing. And by this point, you're now ready to reflect the problems that you've heard back to them and make sure you've heard them right. Because at this point, you know your customers' problems. You now know how to get them to buy in. All you need to do is reflect their problems back to them and ensure them that they can take steps towards solving them in your class. So you can say to your students, I hear you that you're broke. I totally get that. In fact, in this class, the techniques you'll learn, you can actually fund your next semester's tuition with the techniques you learn in this class if you apply yourself. The same techniques you're going to use to identify ideas for a business are the exact same techniques you can use to brainstorm great job prospects for you. The same techniques you're going to use to try and interview customers are the same techniques you can use to try and interview potential bosses. And so you can actually find the job that you actually want based on the skills you learn in this course. So when you connect the dots for your students between the problems they have and the skills you're going to teach them, they will buy in. In fact, they'll do more than that. They will engage. Whether young or old, undergraduate or postgraduate, MBA or freshman, when you understand the problems of your customers and you connect the dots and show them how what you're going to teach them is going to help them solve those problems, they will engage with you. Now that you've reflected your problems back to your students, all you need to do is emphasize that you're going to solve those problems throughout their course. So what that looks like is simply reminding them for each exercise you do or each day of your course that you are going to try and solve the problems that they mentioned during their problem post-its. And you're going to emphasize how your course will help solve those problems. So when it's time to reach out and interview customers, you can say the same skills you guys are going to use today to reach out to your customers are the skills you can use to go out and reach out to potential employers. So you're always emphasizing that this course is going to tie back to the problems they are actually experiencing. So that, my friends, is how you dare your students to tell you their problems. You're going to discover, analyze, reflect, and emphasize those problems and their solutions throughout the course. And that is the secret to engagement, which is getting our students to buy in by treating them like customers. Our customers don't want to buy products. They don't care about the organization of our class or the textbook or the lectures or anything like that. They care about solving their problems. And that, my friends, is the secret to engaging your entrepreneurship students.